The first morning of the new year arrived quietly. The sky was soft and pale, and the air felt clean, as if the world had taken a deep breath during the night. Sarah stood by the window of her small apartment and watched the empty street below. There were no fireworks now, no loud music, no shouting voices. Only silence and a feeling she could not fully explain. She held a warm cup of tea in her hands, but her heart felt cold. Last year had not been kind to her. She had lost her job in the middle of the year. Some friends had slowly stopped calling. Dreams she once believed in now felt far away. When the clock struck midnight the night before, everyone around her was smiling and celebrating, but inside, Sarah had felt tired. Very tired. A soft knock came from the door. She turned, surprised. Few people visited her these days. She opened the door and saw Adam, her younger brother, standing there with a small smile and messy hair. "Happy New Year," he said gently. She smiled back, a little weak but real. "Happy New Year." Adam walked in and looked around. The apartment was simple but clean. He sat on the chair near the table and watched his sister carefully. "You didn't answer my messages last night," he said. "I fell asleep early," Sarah replied. "I was too tired." Adam nodded. He understood more than he said. After a short silence, he spoke again. "Do you remember what we used to do every New Year?" Sarah looked at him, confused at first. Then her eyes softened. "We used to write promises," she said slowly. "To ourselves." Adam smiled. "Yes. Not big promises. Just honest ones." Sarah sat down across from him. The memory touched her heart. When they were younger, they would sit together on the first day of the year and write simple promises. One year, Sarah promised to be kinder to herself. Another year, Adam promised to stop being afraid of mistakes. They never tried to be perfect. They just tried to be better. "I don't know if I can make promises anymore," Sarah said quietly. "I broke too many." Adam leaned forward. "You didn't break them. Life changed. That's different." She looked at her hands. They were shaking slightly. "I feel like I failed," she whispered. Adam's voice was calm but strong. "You are still here. That means you didn't fail." His words stayed in the air. Sarah felt tears fill her eyes. She quickly wiped them away, but one tear fell onto the table. Adam took out 2 small pieces of paper and a pen from his pocket. "I brought these," he said. "Just in case." Sarah laughed softly through her tears. "You always come prepared." They sat in silence for a moment, the sound of the pen clicking gently in Adam's hand. Outside, a bird landed on the window, then flew away. Life was moving, even if slowly. Sarah picked up the pen. At first, her mind was empty. Then she began to write. She did not write about success or money or big dreams. She wrote simple words. Honest words. "I promise to try again," she wrote. "Even when I am afraid." Her heart felt heavy, but also lighter. She kept writing. "I promise to forgive myself for last year." She paused, then added, "I promise to ask for help when I need it." When she finished, she folded the paper carefully. Adam was still writing. His face was serious. Finally, he smiled and folded his paper too. "Do you want to read it?" he asked. Sarah shook her head. "Not today." "That's okay," Adam said. "Promises don't need an audience." They placed the papers in an old box on the shelf. It was the same box they had used years ago. Dust covered the edges, but it felt warm with memories. Adam stood up. "I have to go," he said. "But I wanted to start the year with you." Sarah walked him to the door. Before leaving, Adam turned back. "This year is not about becoming new people," he said. "It's about becoming closer to who we really are." After he left, Sarah closed the door slowly. The apartment felt quiet again, but not empty. She sat by the window once more. The sun was higher now, and light filled the room. She thought about the promise she had written. It was small, but it felt strong. For the first time in a long while, she did not feel pressure to change everything. She only felt the need to take one step. Later that day, Sarah went outside for a walk. The street was busier now. Children were playing. A shop owner was opening his store. A woman was laughing on her phone. Life was imperfect, but alive. As Sarah walked, she realized something important. The new year did not erase the pain of the old one. It did not fix mistakes or heal every wound. But it offered something gentle and powerful. It offered a chance. She breathed in the cold air and smiled to herself. Not because everything was okay, but because she was still trying. And for now, that was enough. The second morning of the new year began with gray clouds and a quiet rain. It was not the kind of morning that made people feel excited or hopeful. It was slow, cold, and honest. Sarah woke up to the sound of rain hitting the window and stayed in bed for a long time, staring at the ceiling. Her body felt heavy, and her mind was full of thoughts she could not stop. Yesterday, she had written a promise to herself. The paper was still in the small box on the shelf. She thought about it and felt a mix of comfort and fear. Promises were easy to write, but living with them was harder. She finally got up and made herself a simple breakfast. As she ate, she checked her phone. There were no new messages, no congratulations, no exciting plans. For a moment, the old sadness returned. She felt invisible, like the world was moving forward without her. After breakfast, she put on her coat and decided to go for another walk. The rain had become lighter, and the streets were quiet. Puddles reflected the gray sky. People walked quickly, their faces serious, as if they were carrying their own invisible worries. As Sarah walked, she passed a small cafe. The lights inside were warm and yellow. Without thinking too much, she opened the door and went in. The smell of coffee filled the air, and soft music played in the background. It felt safe. She sat near the window and ordered a cup of coffee. While waiting, she looked around. A man was reading a book in the corner. Two old friends were talking quietly, smiling between sips. A young woman was typing on her laptop, her face focused but calm. When the coffee arrived, Sarah wrapped her hands around the cup. It was hot, and the warmth slowly moved into her fingers. She took a small sip and closed her eyes. For a few seconds, her mind became quiet. Then she heard a familiar voice. Sarah. She opened her eyes and turned. It was Lena, an old friend she had not seen in almost 2 years. Lena looked surprised, then happy. Sarah, it's really you, Lena said, sitting down without waiting for an invitation. Sarah smiled, unsure but polite. Hi, Lena, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Lena replied. I can't believe we met like this. They talked carefully at first, asking simple questions. How are you? Where have you been? What are you doing now? Sarah felt nervous, but Lena's voice was kind, not judging. I lost my job last year, Sarah said honestly. Things haven't been easy. Lena nodded slowly. I understand more than you think. Last year was hard for me too. They shared their stories, not in detail, but enough to feel understood. There was no need to pretend. The rain continued outside, but inside the cafe, time felt slower. Before leaving, Lena said, we should meet again. Not just say it, really do it. Sarah hesitated, then nodded. Yes, I'd like that. After Lena left, Sarah stayed a little longer. She thought about the conversation. It had not changed her life, but it had changed her mood. She felt less alone. When she walked back home, the rain had stopped. The clouds were still there, but light was trying to break through. At home, Sarah cleaned her apartment slowly. She opened the windows and let fresh air in. She washed dishes, organized books, and threw away old papers she no longer needed. Each small action made her feel lighter, as if she was making space not only in her home, but in her heart. In the afternoon, she sat down with her laptop. She opened a document and stared at the empty screen. For a long time, she did nothing. Then she remembered her promise. I promised to try again. She began to write her resume. It was not perfect. She did not feel confident. But she kept going. She corrected one sentence, then another. She searched for one job opening and saved it. Just one. As evening came, Sarah felt tired but different. The tiredness was not heavy. It was gentle, the kind that comes from effort, not from hopelessness. She cooked a simple dinner and ate slowly. Afterward, she took the small box from the shelf and opened it. She looked at her promise again. The words were simple, but they felt alive. She did not suddenly feel happy. She still had fears. She still did not know what the year would bring. But she understood something important. Change did not arrive loudly. It did not come with fireworks or celebrations. It came quietly, in small moments. In a cup of coffee. In an honest conversation. In cleaning a room. In trying one more time. Before going to bed, Sarah stood by the window. The city lights reflected on the wet road. She placed her hand on the glass and whispered, I'm still here. Outside, a car passed by. Somewhere, someone laughed. Somewhere else, someone cried. Life was happening everywhere. Sarah turned off the light and lay down. As she closed her eyes, she felt a soft sense of peace. Not because everything was solved, but because she had taken small steps forward. The new year was still young. And so was her courage.